Have you ever wondered how scientists get data about people in their real environments? I mean, we all know that scientists are just cooped up in their labs coming up with bizarre experiments that border on science fiction. Well, I'll tell you right now that that's actually pretty wrong. And I'm here to tell you about something called field research. Field research is a qualitative method of gathering data aimed at observing, understanding, and interacting with the subjects like people or animals in their natural environments. Field research comprises of direct observation, participative observation, and various kinds of interviews. Now, wait a minute. What exactly are those three again?
Hey, are you talking about fieldwork research? Because I've been doing a little research on direct observation. Correct me if I'm wrong, but data is gathered primarily through close visual inspection of a natural setting, right?
Yes.
And rather than actively engaging members of a setting in conversations or interviews, the direct observer strives to be unobtrusive and detached from the setting. And it's not necessarily an alternative to the other types of field methods, such as participant observation and qualitative interviews. Rather, it may be an initial approach to understanding a setting, a group of individuals, or forms of behavior prior to interacting with members or developing interview protocols. Is that correct?
Absolutely correct. What kind of data do we gather anyway using direct observation?
The principal form of direct observation is field notes, which details behaviors, conversations, or setting characteristics as recorded by the researcher. A complementary or alternative approach is structured protocols, which may include a checklist or rating scale. And photographs or video images are another form of data collected.
Really now?
Yeah.
Okay. So, give me the advantage of using this method.
Well, one advantage is it offers contextual data on settings, interactions, or individuals. And for the disadvantage,
I didn't ask for the disadvantage.
but I can tell you the disadvantage. Behaviors observed during direct observation may be unusual.
I'm guessing then that direct observation is a whole lot better in open settings, but it's going to raise some serious ethical concerns if we use it in closed, private locations. Oh yes, absolutely. Well, that settles it for direct observation then. But what about the participant observation?
Well, I think I know about participant observation. It is actually a field research method wherein the researcher develops an understanding of the composition of a particular setting or society by taking part in the everyday routines and rituals alongside its members.
Really?
Yeah.
Please go on.
Well, it is originally used by anthropologists in researching native societies in developing countries, but now it is already employed by various researchers in studying a range of issues.
Ooh. Well, I remember a few things now. I remember the kind of data you can get from those participative observation methods. I remember that there was also field notes, kind of like with direct observation, but sometimes ethnographers especially would prefer to keep diaries of their experiences, which are a whole lot more elaborate than just some informal field notes. And it's more recording of the experience that they had, which is kind of the whole point. And then sometimes they would also do interviews, kind of like what I'm doing right now, except they're a lot more informal. Tell me though, what are the advantages of using participant observation?
Well, in participant observation, the researcher develops a thick understanding of the setting and of the members within the society that he's observing.
Really? Are there any other advantages?
No.
In that case, what disadvantages are there?
Well, in this case, the researcher must devote a large amount of time and, of course, probably money to develop this complex understanding. Also, the researcher's objectivity may also decline as he or she spends more time among the members.
Wait a minute, Hannah. How do we do those quantitative interviews again, anyway?
I might know a few things about qualitative interviews.
Really? If so, please tell us.
Qualitative interviews are a type of field research method that elicits information and data by directly asking questions of members. And there are different types of qualitative interviews. It includes informal, conversational, semi-structured, and standardized and open-ended.
In that case, please tell us a thing or two about informal interviews.
Sure. So the first of the qualitative interviews that we would be discussing would be the informal conversational interviews. It frequently occurs during participant observation or following a direct observation. The researcher begins a conversation with a member from a setting. As the conversation unfolds, the researcher formulates specific questions, often spontaneously, and begins asking them informally. This kind of interview is considered appropriate when the researcher wants maximum flexibility to pursue topics and ideas as they emerge during the exchange.
Semi-structured interviews. What are they? They involve formally recruiting members from a setting for the specific purposes of conducting an interview. Prior to the interview, there may be a predetermined list of questions or probes, but the researcher is free to pursue and probe other topics as they emerge during the interview. Now, an advantage of this is that semi-structured interviewing can systematically capture data across the interviewees. However, it doesn't offer as much flexibility to responding to new topics that unfold from the interview.
Last but not the least is a standardized open-ended interview. Similar to a survey, the questions are really carefully written out and it's really scripted, which serves as a minimization of the variability in question wording. The researcher asks a uniform of questions in the same order to each interviewee. The questions are open-ended to capture the differences in each individual. Particularly, it is very appropriate for qualitative studies involving multiple interviewers. An advantage of standardized interviewing is it enables comparability across interviewees. Well, a disadvantage of it is it does not offer as much flexibility to respond to new topics that unfold during the interview.
And that is field research.
We're ready for a cause, let's go!
Okay. So, do you think that men are really worse than women when it comes to all things accounting?
Yes, I think women are better. Being an accountant is both an honor and a responsibility. And I believe that I am confidently beautiful with a heart. That's why women are better. Thank you.
Who invented accounting, might I remind you? A man. Who made the most money within the past century? Men. Who created the biggest scandals? Men. Which is why I definitely believe that men are better than women when it comes to accounting. And that is that.
I think women are better than men because personally, I think, therefore, I am. Thank you.
They are better. Happy wife, happy life.